We loved the previous Golf. It had a great chassis and made a wicked GTI. But it was a problem for Volkswagen because it took twice as long to build as a Ford Focus or Vauxhall Astra.
Which made it very expensive to make. Not brilliant news for VW's profit margins. And when you consider the Golf is their best-selling car, expensive build costs and measly profits equals fairly bad news. Let me explain this to you in a scientific way. If Mr. or Mrs. Bakery person made this loaf of bread for £1.21 and then sold the same loaf for £1.22, even I know that's too tight a margin for good business.
So, here's the new one. It's basically a Mark V, but designed to be built in a more efficient way. That means it doesn't look that radical. There's a touch of Sirocco at the front and Touareg at the rear, but aside from an optical rear view camera hidden by Q department, it's instantly recognisable as a trusty old Golf.
But before you brush it off as a mere facelift, VW say that although they've made it cheaper to build, they've made it feel more posh. So, in bakery terms, that means it should have the quality of an organic ciabatta, but the cost of an E-number ridden crumpet.
Let's get down to the dough. The cheapest new Golf costs £13,150 on the road, and on the whole, prices have crept up by £100 or so. But you always feel like you get what you pay for.
And all the stuff that you see looks higher quality than ever. They might have made something cheaper behind the dash. They've probably put egg boxes in the door cards. And even if they have, it just seems to work better.
If it's sheer economy you're after, then head for the 110 brake horsepower 2-litre diesel. It averages 57.6 miles per gallon, 6 better than the old 2-litre.
It'll crack 10.7 seconds to 62 miles an hour, and it'll do 120 top end. I'm convinced that what VW have done is they've sat in a room with Paul Daniels, David Copperfield and David Blaine and Darren Brown as well, and they've said, can you just do magic on the car? And this is it.
Magicians are always finding new ways to dazzle and impress us, and we, the audience, are always trying to find out their little secrets. I decided to really test the Golf's best trick of all, its limo-like refinement.
So, I've come to Britain's only full-scale automotive wind tunnel, the sort of place where manufacturers tune aerodynamics on cars. The Golf's been so well insulated and damped so far, I've barely heard a whoosh. Those 4 propellers over there, however, could change that.
Once the fans are up to full speed, I'm going to get in the car and listen to how much quieter it makes things. They say I'm not supposed to walk around with the fans on in case I get sucked in, but there's no other way to show you quite how strong this wind is.
That's 4 propellers off an Avro Lincoln aircraft, the successor to the Lancaster bomber. It's seriously windy.
Time to seek some shelter and see how things feel on the inside.
Cool. Struth. Well, it's an air of tranquility that goes on in here compared to out here. And there's a couple of reasons why. The Mark VI Golf has had a lot of money invested in it in vehicle acoustics. There's an insulating film on the windscreen which brings down wind noise. All of the window and door rubbers have been replaced and redesigned to make sure there's less whistling and wind noise inside the cabin.
Thanks to some clever door pillar designs, even putting the window down won't ruffle your hair. Unless, of course, you impersonate a dog.
They've even redesigned the wing mirrors to make sure that there's less wind noise on those. And there's a rain channel, like a groove, in the middle of those, so the rain beads off neatly. Those Germans, they know how to do stuff well. Oh, it's got 7 airbags, and one of them's for your kneecaps. 5-star Euro NCAP rating. Some people want to know stuff like that. Yeah, you want to spend time with me in a car, don't you?